Hey everyone in the Expat Explore community, welcome back to On the Road for episode 7. Now, some of you may remember last week we mentioned that we were going to be talking a little bit about our favorite tours we specialize in. And over the next few weeks, rather than talking individually about the tours we specialize in, we're going to focus on one specific tour, region, or country. And as last week, our idea of having a guest speaker on was received so well, we're going to follow suit with that. And you may have noticed that this week we have traded the wonderful Matt in for an even more wonderful, lovely Roma. And so just very quickly, for those of you that may be tuning in for the first time, my name's Luke. I am from London. We have Brandon from South Africa, Victoria from New Zealand, and a face that some of you may be very familiar with, the wonderful Roma. So Roma, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh, hello, Expat Explore community and beyond and above. Yes, my name is Roma. I'm actually not Italian, I'm Lithuanian, and lots of people think because of my name, that's where I come from. But I'm actually now talking direct from Lithuania. So I've been tour leader for Expat a long time, who counts, and been working really in the industry for as long as I remember. And yeah, at the moment I'm at home in Lithuania dreaming about when we're gonna let me go out and do what I'm born to do.
Okay, and so having Roma here, we are going to be focusing a bit on you today, Roma, and the country that you specialize in. But just before we do, just to kind of give you a bit of a flavor of some of the different areas that we all specialize in, before we do dive into Roma, Brandon, what is your favorite tour to lead or region?
All right. It's going to be hard to keep this brief, but France.
Try, Brandon, try.
France. It's my absolute favorite tour. Our French tasted tour is, for me, the best. There's such a good variety from big cities to small towns to chateaus to wine tasting to food to views to World War II, Normandy beaches. It's insane. It's incredible. That's as brief as I can go, I think.
Amazing. And Brandon, I just want to commend you because that's the briefest I think you've ever been able to do. So that's incredible. And don't worry, those of you listening and watching, we are going to be dedicating an episode to Brandon's expertise on the region of France and especially the French tours that he leads. And what about you, Vic?
Oh, again, same as you guys. It's so difficult to choose. I just find it, like I said on another episode, it's like choosing your favorite child if you have children.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I have one.
Do I really have to pick one? Can I?
Just on that, Vic, sometimes I do also feel like that me, Matt, and Brandon are like your children. And so
Which one is the best?
It's time to pick.
It's time.
Well, that's out of the record.
No, we could never put you under that kind of pressure. Sorry. Yeah, deep breaths.
Whoever is my favorite, they know who they are. No, but seriously, so yeah, I'm gonna pick my 2 regions that I really like working in because I just love everywhere. So this is so hard for me. But I'm gonna pick Northern Europe, so Scandinavia, Russia, also heading a little bit east. And of course where lovely Roma is from as well, the Baltics. I love working there.
Oh, you might dear.
It's so beautiful. And a little bit less traveled as well. So not quite as touristy and busy as some of the other,
sure.
as we know from the expert and the lady who was born there. But my other favorite region is anywhere on the Mediterranean. So I really like doing the Balkan Explorer tour because you get to travel through a lot of those countries that are all down in that region. And again, oh my gosh, take me there now. I just want to be there. Anyway, so I'm going to say Northern Explorer and Balkan Explorer, which is convenient.
Just all the tours.
Yeah, all of the tours. The whole of Europe.
Yeah. Well, don't forget Greece and Turkey.
I don't like Northern Europe and the Balkans. I also like anywhere on the Mediterranean. Oh, I love
I know. Amazing. I told you. I can't decide. I'm sorry.
Well, you're going to have to because in the coming weeks, you're going to have to talk about just one of those, Vic, and so it's going to be a tough call. You'll have some time to think about it before we grill you on the area that you choose.
All right. So what's your favorite then, Luke?
Well, I don't think it's any secret or any big surprises. I'm always banging on about it. I'm always posting stuff about it. And whilst I love to travel the world and everywhere, I'm a bit of a homeboy, and I love showing people around my home island of the United Kingdom and also our neighboring island, the wonderful Republic of Ireland. So it's the GBIR is the tour that is closest to my heart. One, because like with obviously the multi-country tours that kind of sometimes have 3 countries in one day are amazing, but the regional tours, you get to dive into the history of like one specific place. You get to create a narrative that takes you around the whole tour. And I find that these are the tours where people connect mostly with somewhere. And I mean, to allow people to connect with somewhere truly, it has to be to somewhere that you feel you've had a true connection with as well.
Yeah.
When it comes to the UK and Ireland, they're places that I've traveled around independently. I've camped, I've cycled, I've bled in the soil there. I've had horrible times, I've had good times. I've got family from Scotland, from Ireland, and it's just all of it means so much to me that bringing that to the tours is very important to me. And so they're number one for me.
Just on that, Luke, you say how like you immerse yourself so much. Like
Yeah,
the thing
man.
that stands out the most for me when we do the UK tour is you literally drive through fields with sheep for 18 days.
Okay, so you do literally drive through fields of sheep for 13 days, but the history that accompanies those sheep, like it's the only tour where you can get
I'm saying it's a
by a
positive.
stone wall. Yeah.
You are literally there. You are going to see a lot of sheep and a lot of green grass.
You are, but honestly, you're going to have the best time doing it. Because you got to think, like, people that come on these tours as well, half of them have Irish heritage, Scottish heritage. So they're not just going on a journey of discovering new countries. They're going on a journey of self-discovery, you know, and that's huge. That's powerful stuff, mate. Anyway, I will talk all about that in one of the later weeks where you guys can ask me questions about it. However, today, we are here to focus on Roma and her specialities. And I just want to quickly say that on the training tour last April, over a year ago now, I was sitting in the restaurant of the Bivioli Hotel, and I was sitting there with my notepad, reading over my notes, and I'm like, oh my God, this is my first time in Rome. I'm trying to study and go over everything. I'm trying to eat my dinner, and there's so much knowledge to absorb. And while sitting there, I remember you guys strolling over with the wonderful lady who I'd never met before, and you were like, Luke, here is the queen. And there was this majestic, beautiful woman standing there in front of me, and I was like, wow. And then I found out she wasn't even Italian. But her name is Roma.
I know, confusing, right?
Because Luke, before that happened, me and Vicky were actually wrecking another hotel. And we came up to the board and we saw Roma's name on it. And then she just popped down the stairs. And there's me and Vic sat outside the hotel having a cheeky Aperol spritz.
I remember.
Shh, don't tell Stacey.
Never happened. That was the Arancina, orange juice.
Amazing.
It's so funny because I worked with Roma at another company as well. We both worked for another company together. And yeah, that name, because you were there and I started, and we were looking at some previous invoices to like go over the accounts. And I remember getting so confused because they must have been yours and we didn't know at the time. And so they kept having Roma everywhere. So I kept thinking that all these receipts were from bloody Rome in Italy. And it was so confusing.
Story of my life. Story of my life.
Oh, amazing. So, okay, let's dive into it. So, Roma, first of all, just one question from me is why Italy? What is it about Italy that has captured you so strongly?
Oh dear God!
Sorry,
yeah.
it's a big
How much
one.
time do we have?
You go for it. Whatever you want.
I really don't know. No, some people, you know, kind of saying to me, "Why your name is Roma?" So maybe I'm gonna start from that. You know, no, nobody named me Roma after city of Rome. I think it's happened other way around. But I think that was written in the stars. You know, when I was growing up in Lithuania, especially was born during the Soviet Union, blah, 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 Russian influence was very, very big. And actually name Roma in Russian, it's actually name of the boy, not girl. So when I was growing up, surrounded by so many kids from Russia, especially in a town where my father was working, he's Russian, everybody used to laugh at me saying, hey, hey, you got a boy's name, hey, hey, hey. So yeah, traumatized. So I used to come back home and cry and say to my mom, why on earth did you call me like a boy? I couldn't understand. But in Lithuania, if you're a girl, you're Roma. If you are a boy, you are Romas. It's a S, cheeky S, and up at the end, and you are male then, okay? So maybe that was my destiny, you know, and I always refer back to, again, growing up during the Soviet Union, and kind of been feeling I grew up, you know, under this glass ball where it was certain things were allowed and certain not. And I always was very artistic, and the art and history and all of that was really interesting for me. In Italy, we knew a lot about it, but kind of to the point, you know, the certain information, the liberties and democratic ideas were kind of shortened, you know. So, but your curious mind when you're growing up, it's always about something you can't fully have it, isn't it? So I really, really like it. But, you know, when I started traveling and actually ended up being tour leader and was, you know, immersing in this career, I loved whole Europe. I was like you guys. I'm like, who is my favorite child? You know? And like Vic just said, you know, like we work for different company together and we used to be sent out, doesn't matter where, east, west, north, south, wherever. And I couldn't make my mind. But Italy always been there, always. Something about maybe artistic side of it, always very draw me. But then spending more and more time. And I remember even like third, fourth year of being tour leader, every time we were on a coach about to cross the border to Italy, I swear to God, my heart was racing. Like I was so excited. You know,
it's a
like
very exciting feeling when you know you're going to Italy.
to Italy, isn't
like
it? It's like
chaotic, and you know it's going to be hot. And you
like,
know that things are going to go wrong, but you love it. There's like an electricity in the air.
It's that experience of like it's a beautiful chaos, you know.
It is, and I think so. Most of you guys know that feeling, about even having that first coffee as soon as you cross the border, gonna pull in the first automobile.
Service. Everyone, 10 minutes. Let's go get coffee.
And suddenly you're Italian, yeah.
Suddenly I take extra breaks. Like, I'm not slowing anyone down. Let's just cruise.
It's amazing like how sometimes you find yourself adopting the persona of the countries you're visiting, you know, when you're there.
Hey, look, it's definitely. Like people start using hands more often. And I'm like,
even
done that half an hour ago while we were still in France. Why are you waving your hands now?
Yeah. So also just another one, like obviously Italy is such a big place and it's such a huge culture and country to dive into. You know, some people would describe Italy as a continent in itself, and each region is like its own country. And you know, there are so many ways to experience it, even with expat personally. And so what are the kind of different ways that people could experience Italy if they were to join someone like yourself in expat to go and see Italy?
So I think coming back a bit slightly to why I enjoyed Italy, because Italy, like not many countries in Europe, is so different and so diverse from top to the bottom, isn't it? Because let's say if I would concentrate just on Lithuania, which bless, I love this country, but you know, south, north, right off.
Yeah, we stay for a day.
I love it, but we're small. It's okay. It's fair enough. Okay. But what I loved about Italy, because of its diversity, that's what actually really pulled me in. And I used to think, oh my God, I know my things about this country because I've been to Rome, I've been to Florence, and I've been to Venice. What does it mean? I know Italy, isn't it? And then with Expat, when I was at the beginning of launching Italy for our dear travelers, and I myself understood that I don't know Italy truly. That to understand Italy, you need to see every corner, because Italy as a country truly is very young, which is very strange to talk about ancient land, but as a country,
it's very young.
It's very young, and 1860s, the unification of the land, and then when you start understanding each corner, secrets of this land, this is when you truly understand how much you love it. And most often asked question of my passengers is, are you not bored traveling the same country all the time? And I say, I never in one country. In Italy, you never bored in one city, let's just say it. But, you know, when you're traveling through all the regions, it's truly like you guys on a multiple country tours. You know, you go from one to another, things changes. The same in Italy, architecture, language, tradition, food, everything changes within one country as we know it, you know?
Insane. Like even just on the tours that we just go through, like say Tuscany, just in that one day, you see somewhere like Pisa, Florence, and Montecatini, all completely different in the same province. And Tuscany does tend to feel quite like a very, very unique place, because, you know, when you drive into Venice, it's nothing like it. It's incredible, hey?
It changes a lot geographically and everything, isn't it? So that's the thing. So that's when it comes to expat products. That's why people should come and visit with us. Because if you want to see just in Italy to understand what's all about, it's obviously we have wonderful programs, which it's a part of bigger tour, isn't it? But if you want to truly understand, and if you want to truly understand the country, you're coming to explore it, you want to see the regions, because diversity is incredible. And we have so many wonderful products where you can concentrate just on a northern part, you can go south, you can do kind of mixture of both, you can do faster or you can do slower. We have it all. You know, like, I don't know, guys, you have done any of the Italian tours yourselves?
And another thing is even, I've lost the signal, I think. Sorry. You were saying, everyone just like kind of jumped. But like, even like you were saying, you know, you can go around, you can travel, but to spend time in Italy, I would love to go and spend 6 months just exploring Italy. But if you know, and an expat tour is cool because it shows you what to look at and shows you how to do cities, because we'll teach you how to do cities, and then you can go off and conquer the rest yourself, you know?
Absolutely. We'll give you the great tools to explore them further. Even we already go quite in detail when it comes to our Italian products. We go not just in the cities, we go to places where people never heard of, and normally people say after the tour, wow, we thought our highlights will be, you know, ABC, but it's actually not even. We discovered so much more.
Like all those tiny towns that we just randomly stop at for lunch or something like that. That's my favorite.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so when we do our multi-country tours, because I've done one of the Italy tours as well, we obviously normally spend maybe 4 or 5 or 6 days in Italy. So what about with your specialized tours? How many days do you really need to sort of see Italy? Not obviously see the whole thing, because that would take months, but to see it enough so that then you can come back again later and have a really relaxed holiday and say one specific spot.
Absolutely. Yeah, so it's again, it's gonna be like now gonna be pinpointing one tour in particular. So no favorite children out there, no. But I gotta say, it's just because the days, okay, it's in the middle, so that's why I'm choosing, you know.
Yeah.
Because of our Italian tours, we have 8 days, which is the shortest we have, and then it's a 17-day, and then in the middle, little pumpkin, 12 days, okay, and it's called. It's called Italian Delights. And this is fantastic tour, okay, because it's, even though it concentrates more on the northern side of Italy, it also has a bit of a preview of south. And we go out of the typical Rome, Florence, Venice, we go south. So we see Pompeii, we go to Sorrento, we see Amalfi, we see Capri, all the big highlights of southern Italy.
Sign me up, like already.
So now. But we go also, we have such a days in the way the program actually was created. So we start from Rome. It's history of the Roman period, you know. We're going south. We understand what truly means the land of sun, la dolce vita, siestas, good food, you know. And then after misbehaving and eating a lot and trying lots of amazing wine, we heading back up north, but we're going to see spiritual side of Italy. You know, we're going to talk about saints and basilicas and cathedrals and the monasteries, etc. So it's a day of the soul searching of the country. You know, when we're going popping into San Marino, you know, we're going to yet another country, understand what's happened to Italy, how it was, what's actually truly happened, why all these republic independent cities suddenly lost its titles and become one big country. San Marino is a lucky one still surviving, you know. And driving completely different ways. You go to Venice, and then we have Italian lakes. We see two of the lakes. We are having lunch at the largest lake in Italy, and then we sleep at the 6 by the size lake in Italy, which people never heard. And it's barely anyone speak English in the town where we stay with Expat. Then obviously the famous Cinque Terre, you know, like when people can go hiking, swimming. And then we go to Tuscany and we see lots of things in Tuscany. In Tuscany, we see, of course, Pisa and Florence and Siena and San Gimignano, Montecatini. So 5 destinations just in Tuscany. So it's a very big diversity, and the way it's all actually comes together, you see different side of each region, okay? And we talk about regions. We forget the word Italy at the end. We don't no longer call Italy. We say, oh, we've been in Campania, now we're going to Umbria, now we're going to Veneto, now we're in Lombardy, now we're in Liguria. Oh, in Liguria, that's the Christopher Colombo land. That, you know, like it's becomes very clear what Italy is all about. Is a mosaic, you know, it comes together from different pockets, and where the dialects and the food, and, you know, we're no longer ordering carbonara when we're in Florence. We no longer, you know, we eat what is the region is providing you. So it's lots of exciting things. So I think so Italian Delights, probably that's that great middle where you can actually enjoy a lot of Italy. And then if you like it, let's say you loved it south, you can come back and do southern Italy and Sicily. If you really enjoyed north and you want to do it slower, we have wonderful tour, Italy at leisure. So where we spend 3 nights, which is also fantastic. So yeah.
Amazing. So it sounds like, you know, that's like a huge amount of love for Italy there, and it sounds like you know, what's going on. So I'm going to do something that you're probably not going to enjoy now, and I'm going to ask you a series of very quick questions, and I want you to say the first thing that comes to mind. And so when it comes to Italy, north or south?
South.
South. Ooh, okay. That was
favorite gelato flavor.
Oh, pistachio, I'm boring.
Oh, no, I love pistachio.
Favorite pizza topping?
Margarita, classic.
Sorry, Brandon, you were too slow. Go.
No, I said pineapple.
We are already in a different century, darling.
Sorry, we're just going to cancel Brandon. And
what was your quick fire question, Brando?
No, I forgot. I was going to talk about something about food, and then you.
Okay,
you
this is a really tricky one, Roma. This is really, which is your favorite child? Out of Italy's 20 regions, which is your favorite?
Oh, far out. Campania.
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 Yeah.
Ah. Any
Awesome
more?
stuff. Any more? No. Well, I feel like you can only put someone on the spot so much when it comes to choosing their favorite children. So it's a bit of a traumatic experience. So I was just going to say quickly. So you did very well there, Roma. Sorry to spring that on you last minute. So obviously you mentioned like a few tours that the Expat run, tours that you're very heavily involved in. And obviously a lot of people have traveled with you before, maybe in Italy, but also in other regions as well, in other parts of Europe and other countries. However, now Expat are giving these passengers the chance to actually travel with you specifically and book you specifically in advance, as they're doing for all of us, something we're going to talk a bit more about. And so if someone would like to travel with you specifically in Italy, what is the tour or the Italian tour that you have been assigned?
Yes, indeed. So in Italy, if anyone would love to join me, you know, my previous ducklings, you know, everybody who's been on a tour with me know that I call myself Mother Duck.
Yeah.
Other duck. I had no idea.
My passengers are ducklings. So when we in a chaos in a busy city of Rome or whatever, and I can't just call guys, expat or whatever. It's such a big panic. So I do quack quack very loud. Because normally crowds then actually stop stalking even Italians. They're thinking, who the hell is this not normal person? But it always works because my ducklings actually know what is going on. It's a time to assemble, and they're like all coming together. So it's become the
totally
whole joke.
brilliant.
So quack quack, and we are going. So it's and also my passengers. If I'm walking very like ahead somewhere and something happens, we don't call Roma because I've stopped actually responding to Roma in Italy because it's always around me. Somebody speaks about a city, about a restaurant, about a bank, whatever. So then somebody calls Roma, I don't turn around because I don't know who it is. But quack quack, it always works.
Yes. And so how can your ducklings follow you to Italy? How can we come and quack with you?
So you can quack with me very easily. 2021, obviously next year, 6th of June, I got assigned a tour to southern Italy. Campania, obviously gonna be one of the stops in there. So it's a southern Italy, Sicily. It's a 10-day tour. Okay. So if any of you want to hear my quack quack every day, or some new faces who wants to experience a tour with me, you're more than welcome. This mama duck is hungry for work.
Amazing. So if people are interested in coming with you specifically, I guess they can message you. We'll tag you in the post that this goes up in.
Sure.
We'll put the information about the date they can travel with you up on the post as well. And they obviously just have to mention your name, which is obviously not something they're likely to forget, being Roma as well.
Yeah. But also, Roma, maybe you weren't going to mention this, but I think it's worth mentioning because, you're obviously an expert in Italy, but also you come from the Baltics. And as you said, you were born in what was the Soviet Union at the time. And I heard some other exciting news that you're going to be taking a tour with some relation to that, perhaps.
Yeah.
And I want to join you on that, actually. I'm going to ask to come along.
I would love you, Vicky, for sure. All of you. Let's just have a holiday. Because we didn't have enough just yet. That's going to be August 16. That's going to be Azerbaijan, Georgia, and Armenia. And, my memories of this land is when I was tiny, and traveled with my family. I don't remember much because, you're too little. And now I'm kind of, oh my God, I want to revisit because at the moment in Lithuania, for us, for local people, this is Caucasus has become very big destination, very hot destination to go to because it's still authentic, it's not spoiled yet. It's not made yet to be very touristy, so it's a good time to go before it's lose that pure, even those cars they have. It's good to see it before they gonna make a nice shiny buildings out of them, so it's August 16th, so please join.
That is so exciting, and I think it's awesome because not many other tour companies actually are doing that region yet either. Well, I haven't been able to find any, so yeah, awesome. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, amazing stuff. Well, Roma, I want to say a huge thank you for coming and sharing some of your experiences. Yeah, and again, in the following weeks, we're going to be talking about other regions, countries, and tours. We're going to be having a few other people on at different times, and we're going to be asking them some questions about where they specialize in. We're going to be talking about some of the areas we specialize in as well. If you have any questions about Italy or Lithuania and the Baltics, and you would like to ask Roma about them, please leave a message in the comments on here. I'm sure she'll get in touch with you guys and respond to any of those. No problem. And so from me here in London, it's a goodbye from me.
Yeah, and here from South Africa, goodbye.
And bye from New Zealand.
And bye from Lithuania.
Amazing.